fans, welcome to Sports Chat. This week we've got LaFollette's coaching staff, or at least part of them, head coach Chris Honeycutt, JT Addington, who longtime Papa John's friend of mine. Seems fitting we're reunited here. Guys, the Owls have looked really good progressing from game one. We had a little bit of a setback against Eagleton up to the last few weeks where you won and won well.
Yeah, we had a bit of a hiccup week one, dropped some balls, and kind of put ourselves in bad situations late early in the game, and we just couldn't catch up. But things have really been clicking with our quarterbacks and receivers, and when you execute things, good things happen.
Now, you had to replace your entire offensive line almost. Big kids, they're up at the high school competing for players at the time now. They were so good. How have you had to deal with that in the first few weeks?
Oh gosh, that's probably been the biggest challenge, at least offensively, we've had. Because you not only are you losing those players that were huge contributors, but you're replacing them with kids who have really never played before, and we have yet to replace that physicality that we lost last year. But they're growing every week; they're getting better, and I've got nothing but good things to say. We're 3-1 and moving forward, so they're doing something right.
Now you got Zach Rutherford under the center. Zach's a good-sized kid. Looks like he's got the good physical tools to play quarterback. He's obviously the linchpin of the offense. Defensively, though, who would you say is your defensive leader? Because we've not really got a chance much to talk about your defense.
Right.
Zach's easy to talk about. I can look at film and see, Zach's done this.
Right. You're putting up 30 or 40 points a game. People want to talk about the offense, but I'm a defensive player myself, so. Good job.
JT's going down the go.
But so I know the defense is key, and that to me is where we've still got a lot of growth. This is the third year of installing the spread offense, which it takes a while to install that kind of stuff. So it makes sense that we're clicking there now. And defense is it doesn't take as long to organize, but again, that physicality that we're missing from last year, we're still searching for that that Ray Lewis, if you will.
Right. Defense, literally, as a coach, I know that defense is always the easier one to install. Now, do you have another thing that's been important? You should have a really consistent coaching staff now. I've seen LaFollette teams over the years that have not quite had that consistency in their coaching staff.
I think at least in the last 2 years, we've definitely been able to hold together and pull in some new guys that have been key for us. To me, that's key because you don't want contradictions in what the coaches are saying, and so it's all part of unity and
so you're all on the same page really well.
Yeah, of course, even as a coaching staff, we've got a lot of growth to do, and of course, that starts with me and trying to get them to do what I want them to do, and sometimes I have a hard time, delegating those tasks. But we're getting better as a coaching staff as well, and I think it's it's shown on the field.
We work together well as a group. I think we communicate well. We don't, we can yell at each other and be okay in about 20 minutes, well, and we've got a good, we can cut up and go on, and we can be serious when we need to be serious. I think it's, it's important that the players see that, that we're not against each other at all times. We're always, support one another.
Now, let's talk about last Thursday.
Okay.
Y'all had a big win. What did you see were some of the keys in that game?
Well, one of the things that I've tried to instill since I've been there is we do the 6 maxims. I guess General Nealon did started that, so the 6 big keys to the game, and the last one is we want to take the fight for the full game, 32 minutes our case, a 32-minute game. And so for 3 years, I've really been preaching play a full game, play a full game. And to me, that was the first time that we were able to really do that with our backs against the wall. We were up by 2 scores there at one point, and then we hiccuped, and they got right back in the game, and they were winning at halftime. And the LaFollette teams I was used to seeing give up right there. But man, we hung in there, we fought, we got the breaks, and we put it in the end zone and finished it out. So
Who do you have coming in this week?
Fairview in Scott County, non-district game. But
Right.
Now, do you also play Alcoa this year, I think?
yes, sir. We scheduled Alcoa.
That is quite a high-level matchup. We'll see how the Owls can fare in that.
Yeah, it's it will be it'll definitely be a test, physical test and a mental test for.
Well, I mean,
us,
you don't get better playing low-level teams.
Yeah,
And you
and that's-
certainly found a high-level team to challenge yourself with.
My goal as a coach is, and I felt this way when I was coaching at the high school with Coach Wells, is I felt like the middle school teams are built to be feeders, and until we embrace that as middle school programs, the high school team's not going to get better. You've made a comment about some of the ones that we fed them last year, and they're getting better. So, I feel as a coach that I want them to be prepared for not just high school football, but 5A high school football.
Well, we've noticed you, at the high school occasionally, even taking notes. I think we saw you one game up there. And it's good that you work with Justin and Matt that way.
Yeah.
And it does help this year. Like I said, Dan Turner had high praise for your linemen that came up there.
Right.
And he literally sat there and literally told us that these guys came in as freshmen, and I'm not sure if I'm not going to be able to keep them from starting before the year's over.
It really helps that we Justin and I are, we teach together at the high school as well, so we talk a lot. But, running.
We're on the same middle school team
Yeah.
at one point back in the day.
Running their offense and making sure I'm with Justin on the terminal. And they know what they're doing.
Yeah, that's huge, not having to come up and learn a whole new system. Of course, this is a few weeks down the road, but there's obviously Jacksboro and LaFollette. It's the big showcase of young talent in this town, and it's always a favorite of mine. And I obviously, as the announcer down there, I see more Jacksboro football than LaFollette. Of course, when their home schedule's over, we plan on being up with the last 3 games with you guys, and then obviously one with Jacksboro. We plan on coming to see the Alcoa game and the game before that, which I'm not sure off the top of my head. Maynardville. So I've seen Maynardville. They're a typical Horace Maynard team.
Not to mention, that's going to be the Egg Bowl.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was a part of the first Egg Bowl.
You were.
Me and Rodney was actually.
I'm actually going to do a story about that. I think that trophy. I mean, you don't need to add anything to that game, but somehow you managed to and actually made it work.
Yeah.
Now, it seems like this changes every year, and that's the division setup that you're in districts.
Yeah.
So now the district is split into 2 divisions, basically an east and a west.
Correct.
And I know that it's SMMS, Horace Maynard, you and Jacksboro, I think, are in the east.
Yeah.
So that puts Oneida,
Norris.
Norris, Lake City, and Eagleton in the west. So we've not saw Eagleton yet, but apparently
We'll see them.
Are they just that good? Do you think they'll compete with
They're
Oneida in the
fundamentally-
west right now?
Well, Oneida beat them last week.
Okay, Oneida already beat them.
So Oneida will be the team beating West. To me, our Eagleton game was now they were good. I don't want to take anything away from them. They ran the ball really hard, and we didn't tackle very good at all. And we play them again today. I think it's a different game, but yeah, since Oneida beat them Thursday, then it looks like they're.
How does the playoffs shake out? Is the top 2 teams from each division make the playoffs?
Top, not this year.
Last year it did, but
Last
like we
year.
said, it changes.
The number 1 seed will get a bye. 2 will play 3, and 4's out.
So you've already beaten, of course, you've beaten SMMS
Right.
in the division, and then you have Horace Maynard left and Horace Jacksboro.
I foresee, and I'm not real big on jumping ahead. I really want to focus on getting
As
Fairview
a
behind
coach,
us.
you look week to week.
But to say I've not thought about what it should be, it appears that the October 3rd game against Jacksonville will be for first place in the East, which probably will mean we will play again in the playoffs, in the semifinals.
I'll almost guarantee usually.
The way it's set up is again, you know, who knows, but that appears to be what will happen.
If that is the case, you will get to host that game, won't you?
The top seeded team.
Top seed.
It's just the top seed team, if you're the number one seed?
Right.
Okay.
And the championship game's played at Grace.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I knew they moved that to Grace this
yeah,
year.
be a nice football field.
It is a very nice
It's that
facility,
new,
Field
field
turf.
turf. Oh, man, it's sharp. Kids enjoy
No,
it.
I've not seen Grace's, but we went up to Science Hill for the track sectionals, and it's such a big difference from the turf we used to know.
Yeah.
Well, the turf back then was just carpet laid over concrete.
Yeah.
I've played on both, and they both hurt.
Yeah. Personally, the smell of the one at Science Hill, it smelled like old tires.
Did
It's
Science Hill
really-
get field turf?
Mhm.
Oh,
That's what it's made. It's Teesburger Field. It's really nice. I would say, I think
He
it's
dumped
worth
a bunch
$10
of money.
million.
Steve Spurrier?
Yeah. You know, he's an alumni of Science Hill.
Well, they named
I
it
hated
that.
it playing on that field anyway, so
Yeah.
it had to be redone.
They
I remember-
they built an entirely new
Yeah,
stadium.
it's actually a completely different stadium
Oh,
though.
wow.
But it's still,
They're
they're high
high
named
school
it, of
there.
course, Teesburger Field. But yeah, it's very nice up there, if you can stand that smell. Hopefully it doesn't smell so bad at Grace.
Well, I'm sure it will, it's the same stuff. It's kids will like it.
Well, guys, since we've got you all here, and since you all obviously know football, to get a little bit off LaFollette subject, obviously Friday night is probably going to be the biggest game in the history of Campbell County football.
I don't know if it'd be the biggest game in the history. I mean,
I would personally say the
It's
biggest
biggest
regular
regular
season.
season.
it's gonna, well, I don't even know if that's, I mean, there's been a lot of games played up there.
That's
I mean,
true.
Obviously, there's history there, you know,
Mhm.
you're 3-0, chance to go 4-0 playing against a good Anderson County football team. I mean, I think it's a big game. I think it's something that the community is excited about, but, you know, still gotta play the game. I think,
You're right.
I think, you know, we can go in there and we can outscore Anderson County, you know, but 50-0. And then what kind of game is it? Is it a big game? You know, or it could be the opposite. We go up there, they come in here and they put a whooping on us. You know, I mean, you don't know how big a game it is until the game is played. I think that's what I'm getting at.
I see
Potentially,
exactly. It is
potentially.
potentially though.
It can be
And
a
it-
good game.
I will say this on the big side, it probably will be the biggest crowd the stadium has seen.
Yeah, I'd say it's gonna be, but anytime you get Anderson County, or Anderson County and Campbell County together, it's gonna be a big crowd. So this year, you got a little bit more build up to it, you're a little bit more excited. I think it could be, potentially be pretty crazy up there. But, you know, I don't know yet if this is the biggest game in Campbell County history. I think, you know, you got the playoff game with Fairview, you got the Dobbins-Bennett game with Campbell County for the championship in the district that one year. And then you got games, you know, even though some of the Campbell County teams have not been as good, there were still some memorable
That's true.
games. So, I mean, but potentially, I think it could be one of the better ones to be played up there. You know, we got an awesome field up on the hill, you know, the history. Just
Oh, we do.
It's unfortunate
I mean,
that we're just now tasting success up
Mhm.
there, you know, when you got facilities like they got up there, you know, the weight room is unreal. You know, you're up on a hill, I mean, that's the backdrop of.
Oh, there's not much of a prettier place you'll
Yeah,
find
it's-
around
it's-
here to play.
Sure.
I mean, I can say the same thing about Jacksboro and LaFollette too. You've got those fields, you've got that mountain background. You know, it's a very nice place to play football here.
How does it feel as coaches to watch your kids that you've taught through middle school and things, to play on the big stages on Friday nights, and some even play on Saturdays? You don't have to get to play in college. How does that feel as coaches to know that you had a big role in their development?
You know, to me personally, my first year coaching, I was under Coach Wells at the high school, and I coached Troy Arnold and
Stephen Phillip.
Stephen, but at the position I coached, I had Stephen and Troy that I was able to. We played the same defense I ran in college, and to kind of to get them not only ready for what we did, you know, at Campbell County, but to see them go to the same college I went to, playing the
Right.
same positions, and then see them succeed there. Troy, I think, jumped right in. The coaches would tell me that he already knew what he was doing, and
Troy-
that made me feel
Troy Arnold, of course, I coached him in middle school. And I'll tell you what, and this is no offense to anybody else that I ever coached over the years, I have not coached a more coachable kid than Troy Arnold. I mean,
I agree with that.
you tell him one time, Troy's got it. I mean, and even Stephen and Phillip, I mean, just on that team, very coachable kids. But Troy had a little something up here that just clicked automatically.
You remember how far back when Steve and Philip were in middle school?
Oh, yeah.
They were.
Hey, look,
Then to watch them grow over the years and see, they were, by the time they were seniors, man, they were football players.
honestly, if they had been taller, their sixth grade year, they'd have started at corners.
They were that smart, I agree.
They were that good at it. But, I mean, you know the divisions you were coaching in. You couldn't have kids that short starting at corner. I mean,
But they did.
fundamentally, they
Fundamentally.
blew our other defensive backs away.
Yes.
And of course, I tell you, when you know you've been out of coaching a while, you're no longer following the players during their playing careers, you've got to follow them during their coaching careers. I mean, of course, obviously you're one of them, but Stephen and Philip are another pair that just makes me really proud to see them.
Yeah.
And I always knew they would,
They've got
but to see
their
them,
blood.
up as grad assistants, to see
I'm very
you at
proud of those
LaFollette, to see Daniel Collins down at Norris.
Yeah. Now, he played at Jacksonville.
Yeah.
He was the big fullback.
Actually, he's a good lineman. He might have played at
He played
fullback.
some running back. I think. His dad's Scott Collins, right?
No, that's Jason Collins. You're thinking, Daniel, his dad's Benny. Daniel was our big lineman. He's same age as Stephen and Philip, and unfortunately for him, he actually wasn't given a choice to go up here. He was told he was going elsewhere. He said he doesn't necessarily regret it because it was out of his hands, but he does wish he got to stay with his
That's
team.
unfortunate. And everybody. I understand why people do it, but
Yeah. Because I've got to see like Jamie Chadwell in college at Charleston. I remember, I see all these people that have just come through and at least played somewhere in the county. I mean, the football talent's always been here.
it's just been underrated and underrated.
Well, and there's not been any consistency in coaching
Yes, I agree.
anywhere in the county, really. I mean, LaFollette for years was pigeonholed as a basketball school. And really the best thing that ever happened to LaFollette, as far as I'm concerned, football-wise, was when they let Steve Rutherford take it over for a while. He was a real football guy. And of course, and obviously Jamesburg's always been the football school. And like I said, I've always got a little bit of bias because of all my years there. But we had a lot going on there.
You want to hit him over the head with a steel chair, I'll think
But to actually see it finally come together up there is what's huge.
Well, back years ago, and I know this is, we're 15 years from when I was up there the first time, we had a lot of talent that come through. That talent we had at LaFollette was part of their first win team.
Oh, yeah.
We had a lot of talent that come.
Oh, you all beat us that year.
Yeah.
And that was just,
Well, we played up here on the football.
Yeah.
It was a good game. We were losing there to the end, and then we blocked the punt, and
that was a great game.
it was a good game because we thought at that time LaFollette was rolling. We thought we were coming in. We had a high-powered offense, a good defense, and we didn't think you guys wouldn't even thought to even be in the game. We were that good, but then you guys come out, and you had Clark Woods on that team, you had Brian Slover, Mitchell Tipton, had a good football team that was underrated actually, and then you got, obviously you put those two schools together.
It worked well. That's the first time I've ever seen that talent truly go from this to this.
Yeah, well, it was a good foundation starting there.
Well, I've said it a million times. Without the Coach Wells years, we wouldn't have what's going on up there.
Yeah, I think Wells done a great job of building that foundation because he kept, he was here 10 years. That's the longest tenured coach in Campbell County.
That's probably
By-
3 times.
Yeah. Well, I mean, literally, I had 3 different coaches when we were in high school.
And you need
In 4 years, we
stability.
had 3 coaches.
You need stability when you're trying to build a program that was, coming out of the ashes really, because this is a graveyard. Coaches didn't want to come here, and then, they come in and, they had some, some transfers right off the bat, that could have helped his first year, but, it is what it is, and I think they did a good job. They had stability in coaching. Schaus has been up here.
Schaus, I mean, he predated the Wells stuff.
Yeah, he was there since Kesslering,
Schaus coached 13 years at Campbell County High School.
and he don't get no credit. For
That's one of the things I said when Wells was let go. I'm like, it kills me the most to see Schaus not up there because Schaus has been a fixture.
Yeah.
And like I said, I told him he needs to be coaching somewhere.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to see him coaching again.
Yeah, I hate that he's in Jacksboro.
Yeah, well,
we tried to recruit him up to LaFollette, but I understand. But
The other big thing, and this faces every coach at every level, Justin and Matt did a good job at getting the actual kids out of the hallway onto the football field.
You got any tips?
That's what I was going to ask you. How do you manage to do that? I know winning big helps and scoring 40 points a game is going to help you out a lot in that department.
Yes. The culture that I think surrounds LaFollette is difficult, and we've had a hard time getting not just kids numbers, but quality kids out. This year we saw a big influx of skill kids. Well, a lot of those came. We got some basketball kids out, and then some that just hadn't played. And that's helped us running the spread. But we're still looking. There's 550 kids in the school, and I'm looking at 35 at best, 35 kids on my team. It's hard to compete in the season, week in, week out.
Oneida, who's just obviously steamrolled up and down this district for years now.
Yeah.
They have 70 kids or something on their team, it seems like.
And they're not
as big as
they're
LaFollette?
not as big. They play up.
Yeah.
So they're even a smaller.
They actually don't have to play in this division.
I noticed we played Jacksboro played them earlier. There were 31 sixth graders on their team.
And that's why they've been able to do that. Of course, they run that funky offense that nobody can stop.
They run the single wing.
But they know. Those young kids are getting reps, and they just rip it over and over again. This was why they rebuild.
I'll say this from watching them play earlier this year, they don't do that well stopping the pass.
I don't think any middle school team does.
And that's
It's
a
rare.
huge
It's
advantage.
very rare.
It's
Which is
when
why
Cody coached up at LaFollette, had Jeffers as his quarterback, and they were able to pass it all over the field. And that was a huge advantage for them. And now you
When
have
Larry
Jeffers,
played.
and you have these skill guys you're talking about. That's just a huge advantage because you're going to play 8 games a year, and you may be running into one other passing team on the whole year.
Right.
And like you said, being able to get those basketball players out. Now, I'm not saying this to badmouth the guy because he was a great coach. Vic King would have fallen over dead if you'd have recruited basketball players.
I remember those days. He didn't.
I mean, you'd have been run out of the school. Vic would just, there's the door.
Well, that's typically, that's where a lot of your athletes come from. And I still didn't get all of them that I wanted, but that just, it happens. And I think, we just got one more out this year. And after that game, Thursday, I looked at him and I said, basketball holds nothing to this. And he said, no, I'm sorry.
It's the truth.
I'm sorry for not coming out.
Yeah,
He was absolutely engulfed with it. And I love basketball. I play once a week myself. Here.
Basketball is, it's fun to play. I like it too. And I played basketball when I was younger, and it is really fun. But football, you can always find a pickup league for basketball and everything. Football, you only get to play when you're in middle school and high school for the most part, unless you're really good and get to go to college. But it's over. There's no pickup football games. You don't see up on the side of the road of people playing football.
Right.
So play it while you can. That's the big thing.
The atmosphere that they get in, with the crowds, or it's different from here. when you're in a gym.
And the other thing about
Yeah,
it too is there's only, you have 4 home games a year for football, and there's only 4 times a year you get to play in front of your home crowd. Basketball, you got 15, 16 home games.
Right, so I think it means more, you know.
It's, and football, especially in where you live in the South, football is just the king here.
Yeah, I agree.
I think, we'll have to get a couple more of them, that'd help us, but, you know.
That's what you
That-
build
that-
towards.
That's the problem facing everybody, and I just assume that with you all putting up these big numbers, it's gonna get more attractive to people, because people are attracted to offense. And you're gonna win your game on the defensive side of football, for the most part. The other team can't score, they can't beat you.
Right.
But
Which
scoring
is
is,
hard for me
people,
being a
people,
defensive guy. That's what I
people
wanna
love
focus
to
on.
watch the score.
And here I am calling the offense. but,
Yeah.
We were in that game there against Norris last week, the atmosphere, you know, the feeling, it felt like a high school football game because it was intense, you know. We had to make stops and they were flying everywhere.
The other thing about
Crowd was
football,
in it. I don't ever hear that in
yeah,
middle school game.
is football is just, it is the ultimate team sport.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just this week, for up at the high school, Joseph Elkins, he got 190 yards receiving, caught 3 touchdowns, had 2 long touchdown plays. First thing Coach Price told us, if Trey Torres hadn't been out there running his routes right, that wouldn't have happened because they were double covering Trey Torres and left Joseph Elkins open.
Right, yeah.
I mean, it's, you all are teaching teamwork,
Yep.
and that's gonna help these kids all through their life, not just playing football, but their entire life.
Right, yeah.
It's a good self motivation, I guess, to help you later on in life. Because what you do in football from day one, you have to work every day, get up and work out, you know, come to practice, and it starts. It's year round.
Oh, yeah,
you guys.
if you're like we used to do, you get basically 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
The end of the season, you all want to get those off because you got to inventory everything.
Well, you know, and this year it was good because, you know, I don't know, when I coached at LaFollette years back, we would, in the summer, would get 5 to 10 kids there show up every day, you know, if you were lucky, you know. But this past summer, I mean, I don't know how you guys was the year before, but we had 20-some kids every day.
And you know,
All
it's
summer, all
real
spring.
tough with middle school, obviously, because you don't have anybody driving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the way the rules are now, you can't just go pick these kids up at home.
You know,
I mean, back even when you played, I mean, there were times that, you know, if somebody didn't have a ride, we'd give them a ride, but you just can't do
Insurance
that.
regulations don't really allow that.
It's,
But that's
It's
the
frowned
another
upon.
thing. People think that you all maybe coach an hour a day in the season, then you have your game. They don't realize the number of hours you can put in. I mean.
but we get paid well for it.
Yeah.
I got
Probably
some of
making
the, I got some of the
eight-
best shorts, workout
Yeah.
shirts, and warm-ups of all time when I coached football.
Probably make at least 80 or 90 cents an hour.
You know, and that's a big recruiting tool also.
I mean, you can
because
go out and-
you can go out, you fundraise and get these kids nice shirts, shorts. You know, this year we put a booster. It's the first time we had a booster up there, and God knows when, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We've done a lot of, you know, Casey Allen has come up and did a lot. You know, it's helped us raise.
Oh,
a lot
yeah,
of
I
money,
mean,
helped us get equipment. You know, and it's still a work in progress. You know, by the way, we are still looking for donations and sponsorship.
Sponsors.
If you guys are interested.
They
Coach
contact you
Honeycutt.
guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's expensive you know,
Football's the most expensive
yeah, I
sport,
mean,
too.
equipment and uniforms and travel fees.
Basically, what you outfit one football player in, you can outfit the entire basketball team.
Yeah.
So those helmets and shoulder pads, the
And
quality
this is
stuff.
this is a big district geographically. When you're going to, you know, SMMAS and then to Eagles Inn and Oneida, you're traveling a long way.
I mean, what would you figure, about
Diesel's $350.
$300 to $500 a kid, roughly?
If you're
That's
talking
a-
about buying youth equipment,
Mhm.
yeah, you're looking $300, you know, $300 to $500. Of course, you get in high school and it's almost even more. You know, I'm trying to get back on the cycle, you know, with this equipment.
Right, that's how you have to do that stuff.
When I got there, our helmets were bought in 2007 and hadn't been reconditioned.
Pushing it.
And they're only good for, I can't remember, 10, might be 15 years, but 10 years we'll say. So, you know, they're coming up here in a few years where all those helmets are going to be rejected. And so, you know, people don't see that aspect of the coaching
Yeah.
and the fundraising and that's a huge part. You know, I used to, when I was helping Coach Wells, you know, my job was, I coached the secondary and that was what I did, I focused on. And, you know, before he left, he made a comment that, you know, he raised X amount of dollars himself. And I was like, I was blown away.
Yeah.
That it took that much money that he raised individually versus what the players did. And of course, at that level, you know, and that's the thing Coach Bryce has done is, you know, really, he's done a great job with the fundraising and getting the funding of the program and getting kids the gear and that kind of stuff. And but people don't understand how much, like you said, they just think it's.
They think you can coach an hour a day and then show up to the
2 hours
game.
a day.
And we're making all this money at the gig because they see 500
Just
people.
rolling in the
sitting there.
dough. I
That's
mean,
really
literally,
not.
even as the head coach, you probably only make 75 or 80 cents an hour to do it at the end of the night.
We're free.
Or nothing. I mean,
Or
you're
nothing.
doing it literally just because you love to do it.
Tissues,
And
You're
that's,
looking out for the
tissues are
kids.
expensive.
But I like,
I mean,
I let them know
that
when I'm
literally
not
was-
happy with our equipment.
he sure does. But that's one of the things coaching middle school that has been difficult is finding quality help that because people work for free and at that level
it takes
they don't
Well, I mean,
give me the funds to pay.
no, not only that, I mean, some of the stuff you got to go through to volunteer coach. A lot of people realize you got to have background check.
Which is a good test.
Yeah, you got to.
JT, Coach JT, has just gone through all this stuff. He had to do a background check, which they want him to volunteer coach, but
But they got to pay for their own background.
$80 background check and $130 coaching test, and so here you are. He's paid $210 to volunteer.
I will say this. I don't give Sean Jesse a lot of credit for anything. But when I coached, he made sure that my background check and coaching class were paid for.
Well,
Which
again,
we've
yeah,
done that as
yeah.
well. And
I just give Sean a hard time.
but it's just another expense that
It
people
is.
don't.
It's just an amazing amount that you have to administrate, and you have you doing it. You don't have, Butch Jones got 50 people working for him at UT in his office. You have you,
Right.
and then some of your assistants now.
When you think
Which
about,
ain't much.
you got 7 coaches, and you're paying $135 a coach to give them background and test or whatever, or $200 actually per coach.
That's a game for
That's
seats.
$1,400 right there. You know, and
That's a whole game
Yeah.
around the drive.
You know, and that's, I mean,
I
it's,
say you only get 4 or 5 a year.
you know,
Well, guys, we appreciate y'all coming on. Definitely would like to have y'all back at some point, maybe the
Jacksboro.
week of the Jacksboro game.
We'll pump that game
Yeah,
up.
we're
We might do a special double segmented sports chat that day.
Good luck Thursday going over to Fairview and dealing with those Scott Countyans.
we're
Don't
gonna take
get
care of
rough with
business.
there
Well,
sometimes.
you know, we'll go there, and then you got the big game up here Friday, you know, we're gonna root the Cougars on. We'll be tailgating down at the far end zone.
We'll be doing that
Me
in
and
the press
Coach
box.
So,
I see you got some unity there.
Yeah, we may walk down, you got some, burgers grilled.
yeah, you know,
We love to
we'll
eat.
get some people come hang out.
Man,
So
if somebody, Josh Parker's former chairman of the school board, will provide us a media golf cart so we can go tailgate with these guys.
So that'd be big. I'm excited. You know, this week's a big week of high school football, middle school football. You know, we can go 4-1.
See
and
the
that's-
Owls at
that'd be his
4-1.
best start ever as a coach. And you see the growth from the first time he was up here. We go 0-8 the first year, and 5-5, and now this is the year you see the results. So you can see the steps.
You can see the curve going
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, I mean, that's people, when they get new coaches in, and it takes 3 years before you see what they've done. They don't get enough credit.
Those 3 years built up just in time to see your 8th grade class that you've had since 6th graders headed to the high school.
That's right, and then we got to start all over next year. It's a process. We enjoy it. Look forward to it. I think I'll retire after this year, so.
But thank you all, and just good luck against Fairview.
And we'll be able to see you all live and in person the next week.
Sounds good. Homecoming.
Even better.
We don't take calls or anything on the show?
No, we don't have a call-in.